Hey everyone, this is Annette with ASCardDesign. Welcome back to my Wednesday night live, and I'm really glad you're here. And if you're watching this on the replay, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to make a really fun card today. It's an interactive card using action wobblers, and I wrote down where I got my inspiration because I want to make sure I get this right. But over on ginakdesigns Facebook group, it's called ginakdesigns and StampTV Friends over on Facebook. You can become a member and post cards that you make with her products. And I saw this card from Susan Marie, that's her Facebook name. And it was using a stamp set that I'm going to show you here in a second called Hey Honey from ginakdesigns. And the nice thing about the Facebook group is when you're on her group, there's a little search bar and you can put the name of the stamp set that you have from her, from ginakdesigns, and any card that people made and posted using that particular stamp set will come up, so you can get ideas and inspiration, and that's what I did because I got this stamp set and I needed some ideas. So let's go down to the desktop cam and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So these are the products we're going to be using today, and let me just get these out. I'm going to be using 2 stamp sets from Ginakay, and let me just get these out so I can show you. This is an older one that I've had, and this is called Blooming Butterfly, and I've used this many times, but that's going to be our focal image. And then I'm going to use this stamp set called Hey Honey. And we're going to be using the bees and this little curly Q thing that looks like the bee is flying. But we're going to have fun with this because these are one of the bees I will attach an action wobbler to, and you'll be able to make it move, and it'll be a lot of fun. So stick with me to the end because that will be the final piece that I put on, and that'll make the card really fun. And I'm going to use the coordinating dies that come with the Hey Honey stamp set. Actually, they don't come with it. It's a separate purchase, but it's well worth it because you could stamp these images, and these would be pretty easy to fussy cut with a little, little pair of snips. Some of these might be a little bit more difficult, at least for me. They are. Fussy cutting is not my favorite thing. I really don't enjoy it. Some people love it. I'm not one of those people. So if I can get the die, I'm getting the die. So we're going to use the dies. And then we're also going to use this embossing folder, this 3D embossing folder, and I've used this before in videos. This is from SimonsayStamp, and it's called Dotty Whirlpool, and I really like it. It's just going to give a nice background to our panel. So the first thing I want to start off with is the stamping. So let me get organized here. And let me throw those on the floor, my catch-all, and we're going to go ahead and start with the stamping. And I'm just bringing in my mini Misty. Let me get my keyboard here out of the way. All of a sudden I'm out of focus. Let's see if I can correct that. Hello, I don't know why my camera is all of a sudden out of focus. It was just handy dandy perfect. Let's see. I don't know what happened here. I brought this in and everything went out of focus. Oh, technical difficulties. Trying to figure this out. Let's see here. I'm going to hit a button on my camera and I'm not sure what's going to happen, but let's see. There we go. I'm learning on the fly how to use my camera. I just hit the menu button and we're back. So, okay. Let's see if I can do this again without going out of focus. So here's the mini Misty. We're going to start with our stamping. And let's see, let's go this way. So this is going to be pretty fun. I'm going to stamp all of my images in Ginakay's Black Onyx. And I'm going to heat emboss them with clear embossing powder. So first since we're going to use embossing powder, I want to treat my paper with some anti-static powder. This is from Simonsaysstamp. If you don't have one of these, honestly, you could use cornstarch. But this basically just removes any oils from the paper, and the embossing powder will only stick to the embossing ink. And that's all we want. So let's go ahead and pull this butterfly off. And we're just going to set him right in the middle. We're going to end up cropping this after we add some color to it with some markers, but I think that'll be good to start. And then we'll go ahead and ink this up. Thanks for joining. I got my inspiration from this, for this card that I'm making, from a fellow ginakdesigns and StampTV friends Facebook group. Her name is, oh, what did I do with it? Oh, goodness. I've already lost my paper. Oh, anyway, you can rewind. I said her name earlier. I don't know where my little note card was that I had, so I wouldn't forget her name. It's probably in here somewhere. It'll turn up. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get this down. So I'm just stamping that with black ink, and I'm out of focus again. I don't know what's going on with this camera. I guess I'll just keep doing that till I can figure this out. I thought maybe it would be the heat in my room, because it was kind of warm, but it's very comfortable in here now, so I don't think that's the issue. Alright, so I'm just going to wipe off the black ink from the stamp, but I'm going to leave the stamp right where it is. Okay, and I'm just going to dry it a little bit, and then I'm going to use some Simonsaysstamp clear embossing and watermark ink. This is just a sticky clear ink, and we're going to put this right on top of the black ink. Alright, we'll just make sure that that's all over. Just walk your fingers around it, and then we're going to bring in the embossing powder. Okay. I gotta keep an eye on my camera now, because I just don't trust it to go out of focus again. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and put the clear embossing powder all over this image. Okay, just dump the powder on. Let it sit for a second, and then just tap it off. Alright. And then I'm going to go ahead and put this away. I'm going to cover this up because I'm going to heat emboss that image. First, I'm going to wipe the stamp off. And we can take that off now. Alright. Hope everyone's having a good evening. We had a really torrential downpour here a couple hours ago here in central Ohio, and then the sun came out. It's tomorrow's trash day, so I had my trash can out, and literally I had to pull it back in my driveway because it was blocking the water from going down the cul-de-sac, and it was causing the area to flood, so I had to get rid of it. So now I gotta go back out later and put it back out to the curb. Alright. You didn't ask, but now you know. Okay, so I'm gonna heat up my heat tool here, my embossing heat tool, and then we'll melt this powder. so I don't burn my fingers. It's very hot. Just make sure that all the powder is melted. And there you end up with a nice glossy finish. And I always like to just look and make sure everything should be glossy. If it's not, just hit that area with the heat gun again. But the reason why I'm doing this is this makes coloring a lot easier because the embossed areas are raised a little bit. So just, it makes the coloring easier. And so we're gonna set this aside and we're gonna color it in just a minute. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the stamping of my other stamps, which are the B's, and we're gonna heat emboss. We're gonna do the same exact process. All right, so I need my anti-static powder. And this is the stamp set. Very, very cute. We're gonna use these two B's and then this little curly whirly that kind of implies movement. I'm going to just put these up here because I can use the rest of the cardstock for something else later. But I do want to leave room because I'm going to be die cutting these. I feel like I got powder down my throat. Ugh. In fact, let me get these on here. I'm going to get a drink of water. Okay. I'm going to give those a good press so they don't move. And I'm going to be very careful when I wipe the ink off of these because I don't want them to move. Alright, so first comes the black onyx. Alright. I might have to do this twice. Yeah, I'm afraid to bring anything up to the camera. So far it's staying in focus. I think I might have to arrange a fan to be blowing right on my camera. I was reading that they do act up if they get overheated. But I don't know. I just don't know. I'm not a tech person. And that looks good. There's some good coverage there. So now I want to carefully wipe these off. I don't want them to move because they need to be in the same exact spot. I'm just going to dab them. Alright, I'm just going to press that so the moisture is off. And then we will go ahead with our embossing and watermark ink. Hope everyone's having a good week. I feel like this week is going by fast. Okay, I need to hit that one more time. Okay, let me get set up for the powder. And then we'll just dump the powder on. The very first card making video I ever saw was from Kathy Zilski, and she was heat embossing powder. And like you might have seen when I was embossing the butterfly, how you could see it go from powder to black. I saw that for the first time. And I just thought that was the coolest thing. I thought, oh my goodness, I really, really want to try that. But that wasn't the first thing I bought when I started out on this hobby. I just bought, of course I bought some cardstock and an ink pad and a stamp, and I was just playing around with that. I didn't really even make a card. I just was clueless with the sizes, like how to cut the paper. I had to watch so many videos, but anyway, Kathy Zilski when I was learning. She was the one that really explained it in detail and put all the measurements, whoops, and everything in her description, and just really helped me out with that. So, okay, so here's our bees and our little whoop-de-doo, whatever that's called. We're gonna melt the powder. Gonna heat this up again. Let's make sure that they're all shiny and those look good. So I just want to let those cool, just because those black stripes are a little bit thicker and I want them to cool. It won't take long. But in the meantime, I'm going to wipe these off and put my stamps away because oh wait, I have one more thing to stamp, but we're done with these. I want to stamp my greeting. So I'm going to use the Just Because. I think that's so cute. So do I want to heat emboss that? I think I do. I've got a little smudge there. Let me get these guys off. Now, if I was organized, I would have done that. I would have added that stamp to the whole mix and we would have done it all at once. But it's okay. So let's just pull Just Because. And now since let's see, I'm gonna just repowder this. Repowder that, and I'm also going to tape this down because it's a little warped from the heating. But I don't want it to move. And then let's get this going the right way. Just put that right there. Okay, we'll pick it up. I'm just going to tap the black ink on it just lightly because this is a small delicate die and I can stamp it more than once. I just don't want to smush it. Just do it one more time. Real light. Perfect. We'll leave everything where it is. And then we've got to get the embossing ink on there. And I think that's going to be fine. Let's see what we have. Okay. And you can always take a, oh goodness, let's see. You can always take a small brush if you are, if you see, especially if you're using colored embossing powder. Like this is clear, so it's kind of hard to see. But if I was using like a black embossing powder, which I don't like to use that very often, you might see black specks where you don't want it. You could just take a little paintbrush and carefully just brush those away. You want to do that before, obviously, you add the heat. And once you melt it, it's on there. Okay, so let's put this stamp away. Get this on here. This is a trick to get these onto the carrier sheets nice and straight. Just put them down and pick them up. I didn't come up with that trick. I saw it and I thought that's pretty good. Love it. Alright, let me put these away. I don't need that anymore, and I'm done with this. I think we're done with the embossing powder. Oh, we need to melt that. Alright, let me heat this up again. and that's all nice and shiny. It's kind of hard there, you can see it there. All right, let's just get that cooling, and I'm going to bring the butterfly back in. And I'm just going to take a little towel and wipe off the powder. And the bees are nice and cool now too. All right, so I'm going to just add some color to, we'll start with the butterfly. So what I want to do is I want to add a little bit of color to this, but I thought about coloring the whole thing, like making a monarch butterfly and coloring, you know, just making this full of color, but I kind of like the black and white look. But I'm just going to add a little bit of color, and then we'll get the bees colored, and then we'll do some embossing and die cutting. So let's go ahead and color this. So I just am going to use two colors. These are just Tombow water-based markers. I'm using, they don't have names, they have numbers. So this purple one is 603 and the green one is 243. So I'm just going to do the flowers, and let's see if I can bring it in closer. And I'm not going for perfect here. I want to leave a little bit of white space. So I'm just going to just go over the petals, but you know, not going to be worrying about making sure every little spot is covered. Kind of want this to look folksy or whimsical. So I'm just kind of going around the edges, and you can see there's some white space. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the same with just this one here. And I'm just doing nice one stroke, easy strokes. And I'm debating, maybe I will do this. I'll go ahead and do this other one. Okay. So there's the lavender color, and then this number 243 is like it's almost like a mint green. I'm going to, I'm looking at my sample off screen. I'm going to do just some of these leaves, and then these little round curly cues, whatever they are. Let's see what I'm doing here. Just these little doodads, and maybe these leaves here. I might do the big leaves too, just to balance that out. Do that. Okay. And that's all I'm going to do to that. Let's set those aside, and then we're going to color the bees. And I did not get out my, let's see, is this the color I want? I wanted a really bright yellow. So we have these two colors. I think I'm going to go with this one, 991. I don't have a lot to choose from here. This is more of a, it's kind of hard to tell. It's more like a lime green. I'm going to go with this bright yellow. I thought I had my yellow out that I used before, but I don't. So we're just going to do the stripes and the head, I guess, call that. It's more like an orange yellow, but it's okay. It works. And since we heat embossed the ink, there's no bleeding. That's why I wanted to heat emboss first. Okay. All right. We're done coloring. And now we're going to do some die cutting. So this is going to be our panel, and I want to do the 3D embossing folder I showed you earlier. That's what it's going to look like. It's going to go this way. But I also want to die cut this down a little bit, and so I want to do that first. So I don't want to do the embossing folder first, because then when I run the die cut for the outer edge, it's just going to smush the 3D effect. So we're going to do that second. So let me set that aside, and let's bring in the, let me just wipe these both down, get all the powder off. And bring in the Sizzix. I'm going to have to scooch out a little bit for this. The Sizzix Big Shot, the pasta maker. Okay, so let's open it up. And for the panel, I'm going to use, we are going to use, let's use Master Layouts 4 from Gina K. I'm going to use this scalloped edge stitched. I'm not taking this out because they're smaller pieces, but this is a scalloped edge with some stitching along the border. All right, thanks. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut this. I am gonna tape this down because I don't want it to shift. So I'm just gonna crop it, and you don't always have to center it. You could, if this were a bigger piece of cardstock, you could even go off the edge, but I am going to center this because I have to put the bees on later. And I'm just going to try to look on this without getting my head in the way. And we'll just tape that down, and then I like to use my plate to just really hold it down, and then just run it through. Okay, and then you have your nice scalloped edge with the stitched border. We're not done with that yet. I'm done with this die, so let's go ahead and put it away. That goes right here. And then let's go ahead and cut out the panel. All right, the panel, or the matte layer, I'm sorry, the matte layer is going to go behind the panel, and I want to cut that out as well. And we're going to use Master Layouts 12, okay? There is a large rectangular die with a stitched edge. We're going to use that for our matte layer. And this I just need to make sure it's on the black. It's really hard to see. Actually, I'm just going to hold it up and tape it. Oh, I think we got it. I should have had a larger piece of black cardstock, but let's see if I have all 4 edges on that die. It's just paper, right? I'm not trying to save a life here. Actually, yeah. I don't know if I could see, I got the stitching on all 4 sides. Yeah, I'm a little off on the top there, but I think it's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. These are homemade cards. You do want to make sure your tape is off of the die and off your paper. Carefully remove that. That's going to be on the back anyway. Okay. And we might as well die cut the bees while we're here. So let's get these little bee dies and the little whoop-de-whoop die. I don't know what those are called. Now, I may have to look at this a little straight on here. Let me put these down here so they're flat. And let's see. Is my head in the way? No? All right. So that looks good. Whoops, I already moved it. That looks good there. I'm trying not to put tape over where I colored. So let's just go down here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to die cut these all at once, because I really don't want them to shift, but let's try to do both B's. My goodness, my hands. Sorry for my head, you guys. Let's just do the B's first. I think that's all I'm going to be able to do, and then we'll do the other little element. Just remove your, because I am going to cut these out again just to have an extra layer, to just give them some dimension, because I'm just using 65-pound weight cardstock and I just want them to have a little bit more substance, but we don't need to tape those down. So let's work on this one here. I think that's actually looking good, and I'm just going to tape it really well because I don't want that thing to move. All right. Get those off. We're done with those, and let's get this thing off of the mat, and then we just have to work on the just because. I already cut out an extra piece of the just because to build that layer, so we don't have to do that. So let me find the right die. I guess I should have had that out and ready, and maybe I did. Maybe I do. I don't know. I don't think so. There it is. All right, let's just get that lined up. They're pretty easy to line up. Just tape it down. And there is our greeting, just because. And we heat embossed that, so that's good. All right, I think we're done with all of this. I'm not going to set it too far away because I might need it again, but I think we're done. All right, so we have, let me zoom in, we have our little elements here. So let's go ahead and start gluing. I did cut out ahead of time. Oh, I must have already cut out the little B shapes, but that's okay. I can put them in the pack and use them later. And then oh, you know what? We do need I knew it, we need the embossing machine. Let's run this 3D embossing folder through. We'll just put all these to the side here. I knew there was one other thing. I didn't feel like I was ready to glue and put it together yet, but all right, let's go ahead and do the 3D embossing. So this is the Dottie Whirlpool, and got the raised edges and the dipped edges. I want the raised edges always, especially if I have a design and I want it to pop, I want the raised edges on the bottom of my piece of cardstock. So I'm just You can kind of line it up where you want it. I'm just looking, it's probably hard to see on camera here, but I'm just kind of looking at the dots and just to make sure that there's, since they're going in a circular pattern, I kind of want them all around the card. So there we go. All right, now we got to bring this guy back. Let me zoom back out. Now for this, I only need my top plate and the bottom plate. Just those two, because the folder itself is very thick. And we're going to angle it. It goes through a lot easier if it goes in like on an angle instead of that straight edge going through the rollers. It's really tough, but just angle your 3D embossing folders and they go through nice and easily. And there you got some texture over everything. It just adds a little something extra. You don't have to do it, you can skip it, but I like it because it just doesn't take that long to do. Okay. Now let's go ahead and piece this thing together. I'm going to zoom back in. And let's pop this up, I think. I want to pop this up. So I do have some pre-cut foam tape. And we're just going to put it on the back of this. Okay, we'll do one on each end. And then we'll probably put 3 more. I want it to lay really flat. I don't have any. This comes in different widths, and if you had like 1-inch strips or even sheets, you could cut the whole, you know, cover the whole back of the panel. But I don't have that. This is what I have, and I'm trying to use it up. And I just have to cut these little, I don't know, I think they might be 1/2-inch strips. I don't know. It's like a Cobb salad. The more I use it, it sounds like I'm not even making a dent in it. I can't get rid of this stuff. Okay. And then we'll just peel, make sure it's stuck down real good, and then just peel the backers off. These are very sticky, these little foam strips. So I'm gonna, as soon as I get the backers off, there's always that one. As soon as you get the backers off, I'm going to put some liquid glue on these, and it'll just give me some time to make sure it's straight on here. Okay, I just kind of want it to be able to float if I need to, or pick it up and reposition it. Alright. Now, I want it to go this way. I want that little crooked side to be on the bottom. And I think that looks good. All right, so there's your little stitched matte layer in the back and your panel on front. All right, let's get some of these glued together, and then we're going to add our little action wobbler. And you'll see how fun that is. So these pieces are teeny tiny, but let's go ahead and get the second layer for the just because. Just get that on there. And of course it flipped over, so now I got glue on the front, but I'm just going to wipe that off. It'll be fine. Okay, so that's one. And I'm just going to use this little stone owl to keep some pressure on there, and then we'll do our B's. And just going to and these are very easy to line up. Just go around your edges and line them up. Super easy. Make sure they're going the right way. When you die cut, it kind of rolls the edges. The top edge has like a roll to it, and that's the side that you want up. That's the top. Okay, and then we got this thing. I'm just going to put little dots of glue. Yeah, there we go. Once you get it started, it's pretty easy to line up. It's just getting it on there first. Alright, so the next thing I want to do with these bees is, let me see if I can get in a little closer. If you've been watching me, you know what's coming. Winkastella. Let me shake this thing up. I'm going to add a little bit of Winkastella shimmer and shine to these wings. Okay, so right now they're just plain. We're going to just paint some glitter on the wings. Like the sun is shining through them and shimmering. Okay. And oh, it's just so hard to see. Too hard to see, but it's there. It looks good. Okay. Let me set all that aside. I'm going to bring in the card base. This is a USA2 Side Folding card base, and I'm actually going to, let me bring back this stamp. Let me bring back this Blooming Butterfly stamp. I want to stamp this guy just on the inside of this card. Kind of right here, but in some very, very light ink. So I'm just bringing in an acrylic block, and it's smaller than the stamp, but I don't want the whole stamp anyway. But I'm just going to put this stamp on here. Oh, about like that. And I'm looking for a piece of scrap paper. Well, let's just use the paper that I have the embossing ink on. Okay, and I'm just kind of seeing, I kind of want them just to come in off the side here, which you can't see because I'm too close. So let's just stamp this. I'm going to use ginakdesigns Soft Stone. This is a very pretty light gray ink. I really like it. And I'm just going to get some ink on this stamp, and it doesn't really have to be perfect. I kind of want it to look like a watermark. And I'm just gonna line it up and just put it down and press. Okay, and that's it. So that's going to be the inside of the card. Just a little something. You can still write your note, and you can even write over that if you need to. But it just adds a little something. Okay. Put that away later. Alright. So we have our panel, and we have our little elements. Let's go ahead and start gluing, right? And you know what? I actually stamped that wrong, because this card, I'm going to save this, I'll use it again, but this card needs to open this way. So I should have stamped it the other way. So let me get another base. Sometimes, you know, those things happen, but you just save it and make a different card with it. It's easy to, be easy to recreate this and have it go on the other way. But tonight I wanted it to open this way. So here's another base, and I'll have all the card measurements and all the description of every product that I'm using here in the description. So all the card measurements, everything will be in the description. All right, so let's go ahead and do this again. Let's go ahead and ink this stamp up. I'm going to be opening it this way. And we will put it down like right about there. We'll save that. Okay. So that's the inside of the card. All right. So I am going to put some tape down. I'm just going to roll a little bit of tape and put it on the inside of this card just to hold that down flat while I'm finishing this card up. So this will be mounted on here. We can go ahead and do that now. So let's just go ahead and get a lot of glue on here. And just kind of eyeball the center. Like that. Alright, so the placement, I kind of want this one here. This one we're going to pop up. And then we'll put the little curly Q, put it like that, and then we'll pop him up right over here. And then we'll put the greeting down here, something like that. So I want to do all of that first, and we'll do him last. So let's go ahead and just glue this down. Alright, and I'm just going to put it something like that. We'll put this stone out on there. We'll put the bee. I wonder if you can see the Wink of Stella on its wings. It's kind of hard because the, yeah, maybe right there you can, but the black stripes are shiny too, so it's kind of hard with this lighting to see. We'll put him up by the flower here, maybe like that. And make sure there's no frayed. Sometimes there's little frayed little paper hairs. And then we'll put him right like that. Make sure it's straight. And then let's get the Action Wobbler out. Now, these are a pack of Action Wobblers. They are just little springs, and I picked up this 12 pack at Michael's. It was $4.50. So all you do is, there's, I don't know if you can see this, but there's like a ring here, and then the bottom is like a flat disc, and each has adhesive. So where's my little note? Because I had a hard time with this. The flat disc is what's going to go to the cardstock, and then this little ring is what goes on the back of your element. And whatever you're using, a flower, a bee, it can be anything. So I'm just going to take off, and it's a little hard to get started, but I'm going to take off the adhesive backing of the ring. Okay, so you can see that. And that's going to go on the back of my little bee guy here. Okay, just like that. And then I want to take the back off of the, I need to bring it up closer to me to see what I'm doing. Sometimes you need to take a little pick to get it started. There we go. Oh, I thought I had it. There we go. Of course, there's two pieces, but once you get one off, the other's easy. And then you have this sticky side, and you just want to place it down. I'm going to use my reverse tweezers. I can remove him now. And you just want to place it wherever you want it. I think I'm going to have him going like upwards a little bit. And then you just plop him down. And he moves. Isn't that cute? And they flatten. They get all the way flat so you can put this in an envelope. But yeah, it just adds a nice little, cute little element. And then you remove the tape from the inside, and then your card opens up and you have this nice little surprise in here. So that is the Action Wobbler. They're really fun, very easy. I mean, you saw it just took seconds to get it on there. But I like how it kind of lifts it up off of the card a little bit. and then also that they flatten so they can go right into the envelope with no extra postage. So that's the card project for tonight. All right, thanks for joining me. If you like this video, hit the subscribe button, give me a like, and join me next week. I do a live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. barring any technical issues. I'm glad we got through those today. And on Sundays, there's a scheduled video that posts. So thanks again for joining. I hope you all have a great rest of your evening. And until next time, have a great week.